Hi everyone, Pangkong Fox here, the Science Engagement Director for the CACNA1A Foundation. Welcome back to the CACNA1A Calcium Ion Channel. This is episode 4 of my science updates. So today I want to talk about proof of concept studies. I know that the foundation has talked about them before and mentioned them before, and I have myself. And I want to make sure that everyone in the CACNA1A community is on the same page and we all understand what proof of concept studies are and why they are so important. So remember that the overall goal or mission of the CACNA1A Foundation is to, develop treatments that are approved by the FDA that will impact our CACNA1A community. And proof of concept studies are an important step that we have to take along the way to get to clinical trials. These are the experiments that are going to show that our gene or our disease is amenable to a treatment that we are proposing. They are going to generate data that shows that that specific treatment first works in a disease model, such as patient-derived iPSC neurons, or maybe mouse models that are carrying CACNA1A variants. And the FDA really needs to see and really wants to see this type of data before it considers moving anything that we're proposing into the clinical trial pipeline. So, what do I mean by showing that a treatment works? So, I'm going to just use a hypothetical, really simplified example and walk you through how we would plan a proof of concept study. So, first, let's pick a modality. And remember, a modality is just pharma's fancy way of saying a method of treatment. But let's pick ASOs because we've talked about ASOs before, and it is a potential modality that we are considering. So ASOs are these short pieces of RNA, or in most cases, RNA plus DNA, and they have the ability to be designed and they can bind specifically to a portion of the gene, specifically to where maybe that variant or that mutation occurs. So we can pick an ASO and then we have to think about a concept, okay, or a hypothesis. So we could hypothesize that seizures are due to the overactivity of CAV2.1 in gain of function patients. And so we would want to propose to design an ASO that would decrease the expression of that CACNA1A variant gene and hopefully dampen the overactivity of CAV2.1 and thus reduce seizures. Then we need to pick a system in which we can test this. So let's go with patient-derived iPSC neurons from a gain-of-function CACNA1A patient. And then we need an experiment or an assay to show or to test this modality. So let's look at neuron firing. We already know biologically, right inside of our brains, that every time a neuron fires, it's sending information to neighboring neurons. And we know that this is highly dependent on normal CAV2.1 activity. So let's say that neurons have a very highly irregular pattern of firing in gain of function neurons versus the control neurons or our comparison neurons. So here's our proof of concept study then, right? We would propose to treat these gain of function neurons with an ASO that theoretically would bind to the gain of function variant gene, hopefully decrease expression of that gene, and then restore the neuron firing pattern back to normal. And if this is successful and reproducible, meaning that we can show that it works more than once, and ideally it can work with other gain of function variants, then we've generated some really strong preliminary data that we can show the FDA when we are ready to propose using this specific ASO to treat patients. So that's a proof of concept study, for one modality. If there's another method of treatment that we want to go after, that would require another set of proof of concept studies, just like we did for the ASO. And because of the heterogeneity of symptoms, right, the diversity, the spectrum of symptoms that we see in our CACNA1A community, we know that we're going to need multiple methods of treatment, which means multiple proof of concept studies, which means multiple disease model systems that we can test. And we're going to need money to pay for all of that as well. So this is why we ask our families to be engaged with the foundation to help us raise money to pay for these proof of concept studies and to pay for the development of these disease models. And we also ask our families to register or to enroll in our natural history studies, because that's one of the best ways that we can learn about the different types of variants, that we can start to bucket them out into, maybe little small populations and figure out what types of modalities or treatments will work for them. This is how we're going to get to clinical trials. So I hope that this was helpful. If there's anything that you guys want to know about, the science behind CACNA1A, what our research plan is, what are other things that we're doing to get to clinical trials, please let me know. That's what I'm here for. If you have any questions, please email them. You can email the foundation or you can email me directly, and I will always do my best to get you the information that you need. So hopefully my next couple videos will address some of those questions, and I look forward to hearing from you guys.